This video reveals the inside account of how Ukraine turned cheap drones and hidden radars into one of the most stunning defenses of the war. You'll see the August 15th ambush in the skies. Watch the failed $120 million missile barrage of August 6th, and follow the guerrilla raids that paralyzed entire Russian units. Most of the world never expected this sequence. But together, these moments explain how Ukraine reshaped the battlefield in real time. If you want to understand the fight that stunned even NATO, you're in the right place. Before we move on, I would like you to subscribe to the channel and like the video. 7 Russian jets fell from the sky in less than 2 minutes. Against all odds, an air force that had operated with near impunity for over a year suddenly found its most advanced aircraft shredded in the span of a single engagement. The speed of the destruction left both pilots and ground commanders stunned. How could a counterstrike designed to cripple Ukraine's defenses collapse so violently? The answer lies in an operation that flipped Russia's expectations upside down on August 15th. The day began with a plan. After weeks of frustration, Moscow needed something dramatic to silence Ukrainian advances near the Dnipro corridor. Months of artillery battles had drained units, and Ukrainian raids were striking deeper and more frequently. For Russia, the solution was to throw weight back into the skies, send strike jets with guided munitions to hammer positions and destabilize the front. If the plan worked, Ukraine's hard-fought gains would be erased in a night. If it failed, the Kremlin risked exposing its pilots to hidden defenses. Commanders believed the gamble was worth it. On the ground, Ukrainian soldiers felt the tension thickening. They understood what Russian-guided bombs could do. These weren't scattered mortar rounds or hasty rockets. A single pair of Su-34s could deliver enough explosive power to wipe out entire companies at once. As radar surveillance picked up movement in Russian airspace, officers ordered troops into cover, vehicles into revetments, and medical teams on standby. Soldiers braced for enormous fireballs raining as iron and concrete shattering cluster payloads curved toward them. But a silent trap was waiting. Weeks earlier, a detachment of Patriot missile batteries had been shifted west in secrecy, concealed under camouflage nets and tucked into forest clearings. Their crews stayed quiet, watching the radar, waiting for the moment the enemy would cross the threshold. For days, nothing came, and rehearsed drills turned into long, uneventful shifts. By mid-August, the plan matured. Let the Russians grow comfortable, lure their aircraft deep, then strike before they realized they were inside the hunter's box. Russian jets crossed the line full of confidence. The Su-35s flew escort, while Su-34 bombers prepared their targeting runs. Pilots relayed the impression that no major threat remained in the sector. They had no warning. On Ukrainian radar displays, lines converged, showing the perfect range. A single command set the ambush in motion. Within seconds, Patriot launchers roared alive. White-hot trails slashed upward as interceptors tore across the stratosphere. Operators watched blips moving, one jet diving, another banking left, but the missiles adjusted instantly. Explosions lit up the sky. Radar screens marked impact after impact as crews counted 7 hostiles eliminated. A final jet narrowly escaped, breaking in retreat. The strike operation ended before bombs could even release. The loss stunned Russian units. 7 aircraft in one sortie wasn't just equipment gone. It was elite pilots, trained crews, and a message to anyone flying near Ukrainian lines. For soldiers on the ground, the relief mixed with disbelief. Instead of being buried under craters, they watched in real time as the very threat above them vanished. More importantly, the myth of Russian air dominance fractured. Commanders who once ordered jets to patrol with impunity now hesitated. Russia launched a strike they believed would shatter Ukraine's strength in one night. On August 6th, 53 attack drones and 3 ballistic missiles were hurled at a single base. To Russian planners, this was the knockout blow, the kind of strike meant to erase months of Ukrainian preparation with one carefully timed assault. The target was Samir, an installation holding supply depots, field hospitals, and close to 2,000 troops. If it collapsed, entire brigades would be left stranded without reinforcements. In the hours before impact, Ukrainian personnel picked up faint signals of something unusual. Radar operators watched as high-altitude tracks marked the approach of the ballistic missiles, fast and arcing almost beyond detection. At the same time, hundreds of kilometers away, controllers warned of low, scattered objects moving at treetop level. These were the drones, configured to arrive just as the missiles descended. The goal was obvious: overwhelm systems by forcing defenders to choose between intercepting drones or stopping warheads plunging from the stratosphere. Inside improvised bunkers, crews shifted quickly from practice runs to live fire engagement. Concealed radar arrays, disguised on hillsides and under netting, began sorting the traffic in real time. These arrays had been moved into position weeks earlier, linked to communications lines that fed aircraft, artillery, and drone operators. On screen, it looked like chaos. Dozens of sharp angles closing in from all directions, with 3 fast-moving arcs dropping out of the upper layers of the sky. For seconds, it seemed impossible to intercept them all. Ukraine's answer came in layers. At the lowest altitude, loitering bayonet drones maneuvered to collide with incoming UAVs, slicing wings and cutting engines mid-air. This bought seconds of relief, opening a gap for ground-based gunners to finish the crippled aircraft. Higher up, the PAC-3 interceptors locked onto the ballistic missiles. Launches were violent, tubular rockets tearing upward and detonating in incandescent bursts against incoming warheads. Onlookers described fireballs breaking apart in the sky, fragments scattering into fields instead of slamming into barracks. By the time the last drone fizzled into the dirt, Samir still stood intact. Smoke hung in the fields around the perimeter, and several secondary buildings bore damage, but the base itself kept its cohesion. Russia's $120 million strike package had not destroyed supply caches, had not collapsed command centers, and had not neutralized the thousands of troops packed inside the perimeter. The operation that should have broken morale instead hardened it. What followed was not the overwhelming counterattack Moscow might have expected. Ukraine didn't surge forces forward to confront armor or artillery. Instead, commanders leaned on teams of 3 to 5 soldiers working silently behind enemy lines. Moving on foot at night, they set ambushes against supply convoys ferrying shells and fuel. Others slipped through forests to target communications hubs with explosives, silencing radio traffic for hours at a time. These raids returned with video and GPS logs, feeding intelligence networks and proving that Russian depth was thin when stretched. The effect grew slowly at first, but by the 3rd week, the strain started showing. Trucks failed to deliver on schedule, units went days without secure radio contact, and company commanders found themselves rationing ammunition in live combat. Ukrainian analysts later estimated that some Russian formations operating opposite Samir suffered more than 60% degradation in combat strength during this period. And this erosion occurred without a single massive battle. It was the steady cut of small raids eating at the structure that had seemed so solid. This campaign of harassment set the stage for something new. On August 13th, Ukraine experimented with a massed drone swarm built almost entirely from consumer-grade equipment. What began as a series of tiny teams cutting convoys now shifted into coordinated skies filled with improvised machines, carrying the fight back in unexpected ways. Ukraine showed that resilience paired with improvisation can neutralize even the most expensive arsenals. A barrage costing millions, fleets of advanced jets, and overwhelming numbers failed when confronted by hidden missile batteries, small strike teams, and swarms of cheap drones. This forces a question every military watcher should consider. Can low-cost tools and flexible tactics rewrite the very doctrines of modern warfare? While the war continues, each battle demonstrates something clear. Adaptability itself has become Ukraine's most powerful weapon. Considering the circumstances, what do you think the outcome would be? We would love to hear your thoughts on this.